Sofia, a UX UI designer and business owner as well of a clothing brand called sofiatabouche. And I would like to start this talk with a question. What's the first thing you designed today? Does anyone want to point out maybe something? What? Sorry? Okay, an email marketing. Actually, what you first designed today was your outfit. You took the time before leaving your house to not come out with your pajamas on, obviously. Although that could also be a nice outfit, I mean, if you like. Clothing isn't just really fabric. It's really an experience as well. And like any experience, it can be designed, prototyped, and tested. And when, we say UX, we think apps, websites, but clothing also follows all these simple things that UX has. It has usability. Is it easy to put on? Is it, you know, easy to move in when I walk, when I run? It has usability. Does it adapt to different bodies, to different contexts? And it also has feedback. Is it comfortable? Does it last for years? And finally, it shapes identity because the way we chose to dress today shapes the person we are and our identity and how we want to be seen in the world. Now, let me share with you a little bit of my creative process as an independent designer and as a business owner. So I start from discovery. I go and hunt for textiles, forgotten materials, treasure hunting for this specific thing or something that really sparks my attention. And from there, I start sketching. I start designing, building things that comes to my mind from those textures and colors and patterns. And then I create something. Let's say I'm happy with that object. Okay. I then give it a concept. I adapt this concept and give it a title to this collection. And finally, of course, I plan a photo shoot that then it will end up in the e-commerce shop. And finally, it will be ready to be in your home once you make a purchase. From this very sketch, the first sketch to the moment you get that package at home, it's all storytelling. It's really important to follow that creative journey when you create that first product and the first time your client sees it. Now, to do this, I use Figma. Figma is the bridge. I use it to create mood boards, color systems, digital lookbooks. I map how pieces relate to each other. I connect the collections. It helps me make everything visible, collaborative, and fast. It's really fast. It's really easy, and I don't have to like juggle from a bunch of other softwares. Figma really empowers this hybrid workflow, and it helps me visualize, plan, and collaborate. Now, I also design more classical things like a customer journey map. Let's take the example of Lucy, who's 22 years old, and she stumbled upon a TikTok from Sofia Tabouche, and she goes on my web shop. She checks out the necklace. Let's say she buys the necklace, and then she receives the package at home, and then she shares this product on the internet, right? For me, that journey is not only about marketing or just, okay, I made a sale, but it's also part of the creative process. It's making sure that experience feels inspiring and human from start to finish. And now let me just share a little bit with you who is Sofia Tabouche. So it started really as a small upcycling project where I just grabbed forgotten materials, objects randomly, and just became much more than that. I tell stories through clothing. I do feel that every piece of clothes we own has history, has a connection tied to us, and the moment we wear it and who we share that moment with. And it is a creative practice that connects design, storytelling, and sustainability. And of course, Figma, like I mentioned, is that bridge. It makes all the physical work in the digital world. And from sketch to shop, I transform materials, into digital experiences. And this is how fashion becomes interactive and scalable. Figma becomes that bridge between the analog and the digital. With Figma, I'm not only prototyping garments, I'm also prototyping identities and experiences. One of those experiences is my upcoming collection, which is called First Kiss. It's about that first rush of connection with that special person that, you had when you were a teenager, all those feelings floating and all that rage and, you know, hunger for being young and being crazy and doing crazy things and being a rebel, carefree. And it's also about growing up and keeping in touch with that inner child and not forgetting that it's also very important to still play nowadays. Us as adults, we also need to play, to experiment, and to keep going and keep creating. And this collection celebrates authenticity, freedom, and connection. And it invites people to wear a feeling. It's not just an outfit. After all, um, emotion drives storytelling. Now, being an independent designer, and I know maybe some of you are freelancers, it can be quite challenging creating your own business from the ground up. Um, for small businesses, it gets really overwhelming. I mean, I had to wear many hats: designer, strategist, marketer, storyteller. I also have to, work with metrics, sometimes not so easy. So, Hui, thank you for that talk because that's going to be helpful. And there are always tensions that I'm managing. I'm managing time, clarity, and sustainability. And behind every product, there's a complex reality. And that's where UX thinking helps me through empathy, through iteration, and through structure. And that's where tools like Figma help me coordinate, ship, and learn faster. And at the core, if we realize UX and fashion aren't that really different, they both design for people, they both design experiences. We go from wireframes to flows to testing. And then in fashion, we go from patterns, fittings to adjustments. It's the same loop. We observe, we make, we test, and then we refine. And in the end, what really matters is the experience, the person living in that product. And of course, on the screen or the outfit. And empathy is the foundation of every creative act. And I think that's super important to have in mind nowadays. Now, talking about AI and what's going to happen, this is something that it's very common to us humans, and there's no way that's going to be replaced. So UX and fashion, huh? It may look like two different worlds. When I was actually creating this presentation, I was like, is that gonna make sense? Clothes, UX, Figma. But they do share the same DNA, like I mentioned. Empathy, prototyping, accessibility, storytelling. Figma, it's the bridge that connects them. And if there's one thing I want to leave with you today is jump. Go out there and take that risk. We were talking about taking risks and experimenting. Go do that. And value your creative process, because it's in that process, in that experimentation, in those dribbles that all your work and your flow comes to life. And your process gives meaning and value to what you create. And that's what makes it unique and that's what makes it human. So thank you for being here.